Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a Let's Build video. What is Let's Build videos about? Well, I take a model kit and I show you how to put it together. Now, this benefits people that have problems with instructions, that have problems with dyslexia and stuff like that. It's, very easy visual aid to help you. If you're interested in a model but don't know, or it looks a bit complicated to put together, again, it's a visual aid. Or if you just want to start a new army, you're thinking, how easy are they to put together? I'd start with this model because it looks fantastic. Again, this is the same thing, just a visual aid to help you guys out. For all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. So what am I building today? Today, I'm building the Chronomancer. Now, this one's from the Imperial magazine. I believe, if you went into the model shop and bought it, I believe it comes in a blister pack. If I'm wrong, chuck on below and let me know. And I'm 99% sure that if you bought in, if box or blister pack, wherever it comes in, it'll be the same layout as what we have here. Now, as always, the first thing we do is tools needed to do the job. Mold line scraper. You can use a hobby knife or a scalpel, but I just prefer the mold line scraper. If you're using a hobby knife, guys, just always be careful with knives and blades. Clippers, the most valuable tool that we have. Some people, new people, can say, why is that the most valuable tool? A clipper has two sides. There's this flat side and this other side. Now the flat side, when you're taking stuff off, you can push it right up the flat side up against the bit that you want, like that, and just clip it off and it'll come off nice and easy. The other tool that I use is some sanding sponge. Now this is just sandpaper on a sponge. So if I need to get into nitty-gritty bits, I can fold it up, just get in there. I do use the mold line scraper and the sanding sponge together, not at the same time, obviously I do it separately. Now this is a plastic kit, so plastic glue. Now you can use super glue, however, I would suggest using plastic glue on this one particularly. The reason why is there's loads of tendrils and stuff like that. They have to line up perfectly. Okay, if you're using super glue and then you glue it and notice that it's not perfect, it's going to be difficult to get apart. If it's plastic glue, it's not perfect. As you take it away, it'll be like a gooey. You can just push it back into where it should be. The only thing with plastic glue takes a little bit longer to dry. Which, by the looks of this model, there's going to be a few sub-assembly pieces. But, we'll work for it and get on with it. It can't be as difficult as the flayed ones. Let's put it that way. Right. So, the next thing that we do, always do, is we have a look at the kit. Identify bits that we can see. So, look, there's his spinal column. Yeah, going his back there. That's his back of the body. There's his front piece that goes over the front of him, the crest, I don't know what it's called. I love these. These are the two little boxes that he has. This one here is a sphere inside of a box with the box opening up. It's absolutely fantastic. This one is just him holding a box in his hand. Just reminds me of Hellraiser. Anyone's seen that film? This is the other sprue. This is the front of the body. He has two different staff arms. One of them has these lovely swirls. The other one is just like that. I don't think is that one, do they go together? Or they might actually do. They might actually go together. I might be mistaken here. Yes, they do. They go together. I think they do, yeah. I'll check that out as we go along. But there's a nice little sphere. Actually, I don't know. We'll check the spear out as we go, the staff out as we go along. But there's 3 different head options. Okay, so that knocking the sticker off. The first thing I'm going to do, the first thing I need, should be prepared, is actually number 1 and number 2, which is, this is number 2, the front of the body and the back of the body. Okay, so I'm going to clip those off, clean them down, and give them a dry fit and see how they look. I'll come back to you then. Right, so I've cleaned the pieces down, dry fitted them. These pieces have very little to no mould lines. I actually had to use the clippers to clip the little nipple bits that come off the sprue with it. So you can see it's all shiny there. That's because I put some plastic glue. It literally just sits on like that. That's it. As simple as that. I just have to hold it for a bit. Now, with that little join line there, don't worry about that, because leave that to dry. When that's dry-ish, you can just run a little, say a bead of the plastic glue. You don't really need to squeeze anything out. You just, glue the next bit, just run the excess along there, and that will seal the gap under there as well, look, just along there. I always do that towards the end, or if I'm finished with a certain part and I'm adding a bit that I can't get to that bit again, I'll do it then. The next thing we need is his spinal column and his front headcrest, which, let's take a moment to have a look at. There's some detail on there. I love that. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And yes, there is one missing, because one's missing is in his hand. Yeah, or it's the one that's open. So I'm going to snip that off and his spine, give them a clean down, and come back to you then. Right, so I've cleaned those bits off. I've dry fitted them. So now I'm going to show you the glue goes in a little slot down his back. And the spinal column, there's a little square bit that goes in there like that. Yeah, nice and easy. Yeah, that's the right way around. Let's double check it's the right way around. Yeah, that's nice and easy. Then the front piece actually sits up here. So dab some glue across there. Little shoulder braces. And it sits. It did sit. It does sit like that. So I need to leave that to dry for a minute. Again, there's a little line across the shoulder pads there. I'll bring that. I'll do it now. As you can see, there's a bit of glue coming off the top there. Don't squeeze it, just run it along. Sorry, I'm just doing off camera there. Just run it along, and it will seal the gap. Now I need to leave that to dry, but there's what we're looking at so far. Absolutely fantastic. I was reading about the he won't stand, he's not freestanding. I was reading about the staff. They were saying with the staff you need to make sure he's glued to the base first, or the staff glues to the base and glues to him, just because you glue the staff to him first with the tendrils, and then you glue the whole lot to the base, because he won't stand without the staff, and you still have to hold him till he's dry. Yeah, both those staffs actually, I'm just looking at the instructions here, both these staffs are two different options. So this is one complete staff, and this other staff has multiple parts. There's one part for it. That part there just slots in the front there to give you a sphere swinging around. I'm going to go with the sphere swinging around, because I actually really love that. Yeah, I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry, and I'll come back to you then. Right, so now it's to work onto his staff. So I've decided I'm going to go with the ball, which is that one, this one, and this little piece here. Yeah, so I'm going to clip those off first, give them a clean down. Then the ball's pretty self-explanatory. They slot together to make a sphere, and then this little bit here goes into this little groove here. So I'm going to snip those off, glue the ball together because I don't need to see that. It's very simple, and I'll come back to you then. Right, so I put it together. Just looking at the instructions, I need to connect this hand, yeah, which is here by my fingers, into his hand that he's holding here. Yeah, this connects in here, but the tentacle at the bottom here needs to line up with the tentacle at the bottom there. Yeah, so it's a little bit tricky. So what I decided to do was just jump ahead, give that a glue down, and then leave that to just dry for a little while. So when I put it on, it's not as, you know, it's more sturdy. Now, with that said, this sphere is pretty difficult because it doesn't connect in properly because there's a little tiny gap there. But again, I'll run a little bit of glue over that at the end just to seal that off. So if you're not too comfortable with the sphere, or if you try the sphere and mess it up, you've always got the other sphere, so it's not a problem. So now I'm going to pop that to a bit of polystyrene. So you guys can see I've got polystyrene there. So I can just pop that in there and just leave that to dry for a few minutes. Then the next thing I need to do is decide where I'm going to go with, what hand I'm going to go with. Am I going to go with this one or this one? Now this one is very difficult. There's you can see a little hole there in the middle. There is two, one little square that goes in there, and then the other one goes into the hand here. Now that is going to be very tedious for me to mess around with. There's supposed to be two squares that go onto it. I can only see one on the sprue. Oh no, there's the other one. There is two. There's the second one, and there's the other one. So, but they do look very tedious for me to do, so I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. Yeah, where he's already holding the box, which is nice. So I'm going to snip that off, clean that down, and that literally just glues straight into there on the model. Yeah. So I'm going to clean that down, glue that on, come back to you then, guys. So it just sits on there like that. There's a nice little join on the arm, so that's perfect. So the next thing, because he can't stand yet, unfortunately, the next thing is his head. Now, the instructions will tell you to go with the staff. There's another tentacle, actually, which is this one here. Let's go at the base of his foot, we'll sort that out afterwards, but go for his head first. There are 3 different options of heads. All of them are absolutely fantastic. I like the one with the long beard, I like one little insignia on the beard, I like the one with the pointy beard. I'm going to go with one with the pointy beard, which is this one here. And again, there's a little groove there that sits just in there. So I'm going to cut that off, clean that down, and then glue the head on. I'll come back to you again. There we have it. Again, if you're like me and you end up having, let's just come off, you end up having hobby hands, you can, and drop the piece off, you can easily take one of the other heads. So it's not an issue, not a problem. So I'm going to leave him to dry for a minute, and then what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to take this tentacle piece, because it goes by the base of his foot. I'm going to take that off, clean it down. Now with this piece, there's a flat little bit there. That little flat bit has to stay because it connects onto another little flat bit down the bottom here, which I'll show you when I come down to it. Right, this piece, just here, that's where that connects on. Okay, so this flat end connects onto that flat end. Let's give you a tentacle that comes around. So I'm going to glue that on and then leave that for a few minutes to dry. Right, so the only thing left to do on this guy now, let's get his staff out of there, is to glue his staff on. Now, on his hand, there's a little pin that sticks out. Just focusing on that. Come on. It's a little pin that sticks out. And his hand, back there, focus focus in, focus, has a little hole. So that goes in there, but he has a little tentacle wrapped around. Now the tentacle connects onto this tentacle. Is it this one or this one? It's this one here. What we do is we give it a dry fit because we don't know. I can actually get hold of it properly. So the hand goes on there. Yeah. That's why we use plastic glue, so then we can actually just line up where the tentacle is meant to be. So I'm going to get some glue on there, the hand first. It seems to have blocked again. Yep, let me unblock that. I'll come back to you. Well, I wish I'd recorded this because it's a very, very tricky bit. So this staff, basically, as you can see, it's wrapped around there. It's a very difficult connection to make. Now, the best way to do it is put a bit of glue there and put a bit of glue on the tentacle that's on the staff at the bottom. And then you slide the staff in from the top. So the staff actually goes, because this is where it connects, this is where it joins. But the staff actually goes behind that tentacle there. Yeah. And then this is why we use plastic glue, so you can actually then, if you need to adjust it a little bit, you can adjust it. But I literally slid it through, connected it here, and then connected the hand on. Okay, now this bad boy is going to be based. So I'm going to, you can see underneath there's a flat piece. I'm going to put some glue there and some glue across those tentacle. Get some hand behind. Get some glue underneath those tentacles and glue them to the base. Right, so he's done the base now. Now the problem with the base and his position is leaning to one side. Now that's not a mistake, that is how it's meant to be. But I'd say with the base, I've glued it, you can see little shiny bits of plastic glue there, along where I said I was going to put it on, put them on the base. I've left him standing. Now probably about an hour, 2 hours time, I'll come back with the super glue. This super glue, it's on a brush. Let me show you this one. This is the handiest super glue. I love using this super glue. It's on a brush. And then what I'll do with the brush is I'll run the super glue along the edge of the tentacle where the tentacle hits the base. And leave it for another couple of hours, and then that's ready. It'll be ready then to gravel and to go into the weekly vote. But it's a fantastic model. Difficulty rating, I'd probably give it maybe a 5. Due to two things. The first thing is tentacles. Always try and line tentacles up are a pain in the backside, but this is done pretty easily. The staff was difficult to slide in to figure out how it went in, but once I figured it out, it was very simple. Again, that makes your life easier now, because if you're putting this together for the first time, you know, okay, that goes like that. It's the best way to do it. This is one of those wonderful kits that comes with multiple different parts. But one thing for me with this, the way I've done this, the hand, beginner, nice and easy. The staff, it wasn't so easy. It was not beginner stuff to do. The other stuff is probably a beginner stuff to do. And this section is probably like the expert section to do. I didn't fancy trying to mess around with that, but still, that is an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. But another wonderful thing with this kit is you can buy this kit, have this staff with this hand, it's holding the box, buy another model, have this staff with the other hand, and then buy it again and have the staff that I have on with the sphere, and then the same way I've done it, do the same thing again with that sphere, and then this box. So you have 4 Chronomancers, all slightly different, but all the same. So on terms of, this is for big games now, so in terms of Battlefield, you've got 4 individual HQ models, all with different, they're the same, but they all have slightly different, so it's easier to identify in Battlefield. But anyway, I'm going to bring you down and show you some pretty pictures. Guys, thank you for watching. It means a massive amount to me. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button, because it helps channel grow in a massive way. Turn on your notifications if you haven't already done so you don't miss nothing that I produce. And I'm looking forward to this guy hitting the vote, because I'm pretty sure something's going to be voted on pretty quickly. Thanks for watching. I'll bring you down and show you some pretty pictures now, guys. Until next time, take it easy.